Hi, and welcome to On a Mission, where we highlight those people that are really living out a mission in the workplace. I'm your host, James Sonnemore, and joining me always is Miss Della Sellers. Della, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Very good. Thanks so much. I'm really excited about our conversation we're about to have.
I love getting to do this. And it's funny, when we started, I did not feel that way. So today we have Miss Rebecca Smith with us, and she is with R.E.S.T.O.R.E. And we actually were sitting before this started talking about trying to figure out actually how we had met. But I think a lot of that just comes to that we equally share a love to try to help the women in our community. So we're really glad you joined us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. It's a blessing to be here.
Amen. And if you wouldn't, I feel like everybody that's watching kind of has a good idea who we are, but would you share a little bit about who you are and what you guys do?
Yes, like as you said, I'm Rebecca, and we provide transitional housing and wraparound services to formerly incarcerated women from a holistic standpoint, right? Really dealing with the trauma that they've experienced, because oftentimes that's what leads them to prison. So we're excited to do that.
That's beautiful. I definitely, as a woman that started a program because my heart was to love on young women growing up like me, could have been that kid, right? I could have been that young adult. There's many times I could look back around my young adult and say, hey, a decision I was making at that time could have led me, and it could have been as simple as going to a networking event and driving home. That could have cost me my career. And I can only imagine the difficulty of what that is to transition back into society, right?
Correct.
We're, as a society, I don't think we're teaching trauma as a whole. We've never proactively taught it to a generation ever.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite if people say the parents are supposed to teach it at the home. Well, if we never taught them, how do you expect them to teach it?
Correct.
And teaching is a gift. I mean,
Yes.
scripturally, it's real clear that's a gift. So can you tell us a little bit about like one of the core things that you see that maybe when I look at it, I'm looking for proactive, right? Like what can we do in society that might help prevent that? But then what is the core thing you see after they get out that they really need the most help with?
I would say more so mental health and substance abuse.
Okay.
Which is also oftentimes associated with trauma. So that's why we really want to help the women heal from the inside out, which means case management, therapy, being connected to a faith-based organization of whichever they choose. So it's just really important to have that village and to be able to come alongside the women and lead and guide them through the process, because I know I've experienced that myself, where I needed support, dealing with anxiety, depression, and being in very dark spaces. And that's what really led me to want to work with the women, because oftentimes they experience the same thing. And just knowing how when people come alongside you with your faith is really important in healing. So that's what it's all about for us.
Amazing. Rebecca, with the mental health, do you rely on employees or volunteers to help with these women?
We partner with community partners, but we also have our own staff that really works with them. And we have a diverse group, because I know from being in therapy myself that you're not going to always connect with that one person, right? So we have a diverse group of people. And so the women can really feel comfortable and build that trust, because oftentimes they don't trust. Like when we go to the prisons, we actually go into the prisons and share what we do. It's really hard for them to believe that we offer all the services that we offer. So trust is a big thing. So it's really important for me to make sure that we have a diverse group of people working with our clients.
I feel like that's critical. You said a couple of things: community, coming together in a shared faith, that they don't trust, right? And all of that collectively begins to be the structure in which we need as individuals to thrive.
Correct.
When I look at it, I've always called it head, heart, health, and home.
Mm-hmm.
And if that doesn't feel stable, and then the community around you doesn't feel stable, it's real hard to trust, right?
Very
because
much
I don't
so.
have any stability to make me feel safe. So the thing becomes safety is control. And if you don't trust people and they let you down, you kind of lose that feeling.
Yes.
And it was very much so in my own faith that I began to find that footing.
Oh, yeah.
Of being able to understand identity and trauma and, reaction to things.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine the work that you guys are doing and the lives that you guys are changing. And I love how we continue to keep running into each other collectively.
Very small circle. It's truly hard work, right? So when you're
good.
working from the heart and you're striving for excellence and you're doing it unto Christ, you're going to always, have the same people in those circles.
Now, after you they get on their feet, let's say, or maybe they're just mentally right to get back out into the world, because I can't imagine what that just change of culture
Oh yeah.
is for these women. What's the next step for them? Do they go to another type of a program, or is it you give them some job training, something like that? How do they take that next step to kind of get back into the world?
Okay, so we have 3 phases. We have the transitional home, and that's when you kind of get to the core of the problem. Also, we're doing life skills training, getting them ready for work. Then we have what you call a step-up house. And it's like, okay, everyone has a case plan. So it's not a cookie cutter type thing. And I think that, that really impacts us in a negative way when we have this cookie cutter. So everyone has their individual case plan. For example, we have one resident who went in at 17 and got out at 42. Right. So that's 25 years. So of course, her case plan is going to be different from somebody who, went to college. They, went in for 2 years. So it's individually. So we really focus on the individual person from a holistic standpoint.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
The uniqueness and like the proprietary kind of way you deal with each person is
Yep.
so important, because I think that's what we see kind of the government fail at, right? You
Yep.
just go and see a social worker or a caseworker, and like them or not, that's your
That's
caseworker.
it. Yeah. And
Good
the
luck.
next phase we're really excited about. We broke ground on a quadplex in April. So this will be independent living, where they're totally going from paying program fee to rent, and really preparing them to either purchase a home or get their own apartment. So we're really excited. We're really trying to cover the housing from beginning to end.
It's the infrastructure it's
Yeah.
missing, right?
Yeah.
When I think about it, whether it's our kids, whether it's the transition housing, as a society, we're very much so missing that. Like, how do we create that infrastructure? So I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Before we get to the close of where we're, kind of the end of this segment, is there anything about what you guys have upcoming, or any way people can get involved if they want to kind of help? Like, if your heart out there says, I've been that woman that's come out of incarceration and I've transitioned and I'd love to help, or if you're in that space and
Yes.
they kind of need that space, or just in general, God's given a heart for you to want to help in that space, how do they get involved?
Yes, definitely go to our website, and it's R.E.S.T.O.R.E.Duval.com, and just let us know that you want to volunteer, because we really want to get our clients connected with positive women. And also, you can also click the donate button. We always welcome that.
Okay. Smash that donate button hard,
Please,
right? Let's go.
Please.
Rebecca, first of all, thank you for all the work you're doing in the community. It really is God's work, and
Thank
we really
you.
appreciate that. And we also really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and it's a blessing to serve the women that we serve. So
Beautiful.
thank you.
And
And
just
you all
to-
keep up the great work that you're doing as well.
It's an honor.
Thank
Yes.
you. We're humbled.
Yes.
And right below this video, there's going to be all your information. So just in case they missed what you said, don't worry. They can't get away with it. It's right below here.
Hey, no excuse. No
That's
excuse.
right. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us today,
Thank you for
Rebecca.
having me.
On behalf of Della Sellers, I'm James Fenimore, and this has been On a Mission, and we can't wait to see you next time.